Have you ever watched two shows set in different eras and thought, wait, what if these worlds secretly connect? Well, today we're diving deep into a question fans have been whispering about for years. Could Downton Abbey and the Gilded Age actually exist in the same universe, and maybe even cross paths? The idea sounds wild, but as we dig in, the puzzle pieces start fitting together in surprisingly elegant ways. Two shows, two continents, two very different slices of high society. And yet, so many threads point towards something bigger. Let's start unraveling them. When Downton Abbey premiered in 2010, viewers fell in love with its upstairs, downstairs stories about early 20th century English aristocracy. The Crawleys, their staff, their secrets, and their often hilarious missteps became a worldwide obsession. The show mixed drama with gentle satire, pulling viewers into a world full of titles, traditions, romances, betrayals, and whispered scandals. Meanwhile, across the ocean in a dazzling version of 1880s New York, the Gilded Age arrived in 2022 with its own world of ambition, rivalry, and reinvention. Characters stared up at towering mansions, wondering what power lay inside those walls, and what doors could open if you stepped into the right drawing room. The show explored old money versus new money, social climbing, and the people who would stop at nothing to claim their place in society. Both series are historical dramas filled with lavish style and social politics. But the real excitement begins when we ask, could these worlds ever collide? Could characters from one show cross paths with characters from the other? And has the creator himself been hiding hints in plain sight? Let's break it down. Both shows were created by Julian Fellowes, which immediately sent fans into detective mode. If one writer builds two elaborate worlds set only a few decades apart, surely he's thought about how they might overlap. People began imagining everything from cameo appearances to an entire Fellowes-verse. And honestly, that idea doesn't sound far-fetched at all. The timelines alone make things interesting. The Gilded Age unfolds in the 1880s. Downton Abbey picks up nearly 30 years later, in the 1910s. On paper, that's a big gap. But the characters in both worlds talk constantly about people traveling between America and England. Business deals, political marriages, trips to Europe, it was all common among wealthy families. So it's entirely possible that some characters in Downton were alive, maybe even children, during the events of the Gilded Age. You can almost imagine an older dowager countess quietly holding memories from her youth, or the Russell family hearing whispers about English aristocrats they hope to befriend. That's where the idea starts feeling real. And the Titanic story ties everything together even tighter. We all know the tragic sinking of the RMS Titanic in 1912. In Downton Abbey, this disaster sets the entire plot in motion when Mary Crawley's intended husband dies on the ship. The loss creates a ripple effect that changes every single character's future. But here's where things get even more interesting. The Gilded Age features the Astor family, and the real Caroline Astor's son, John Jacob Astor IV, was one of the wealthiest men to perish in the tragedy. That means if the Gilded Age sticks to history, the show's powerful matriarch would also experience deep personal loss from the same event that shapes the Crawley family's destiny. That's too big of a coincidence not to notice. It's like history itself becomes the bridge between New York and England. And speaking of bridges, let's talk about Cora Crawley. She was born an American heiress from Cincinnati, Ohio. Exactly the sort of woman who, in the Gilded Age, would be navigating New York society parties, strict social rules, and complicated expectations. In fact, the original concept for the Gilded Age was meant to include a young Cora as a central character before the show's story changed directions. That alone hints that the two worlds were once much closer than viewers realize. Cora's marriage to Robert Crawley, Earl of Grantham, saved Downton Abbey from financial ruin. Her money gave the family stability and future heirs the security they needed to carry on the Crawley legacy. And that storyline echoes something we see repeatedly in the Gilded Age. Wealthy American families using their fortunes to gain titles, status, or international influence. It's not hard to picture Bertha Russell dreaming about marrying her daughter into the British aristocracy, because that's exactly what happens. When Gladys Russell marries the Duke of Buckingham, the Russells officially step into the world that Cora herself joined years later. It's almost like these stories are telling different chapters of the same storybook. Of course, the internet couldn't let a mystery like this go without speculation. One popular theory suggested that Bertha Russell's sister might secretly be a younger version of Cora Crawley. But the timelines and family backgrounds don't align. Bertha's family started out with very little, while Cora's wealth was old, stable, and influential enough to attract a British earl. Still, the theory shows how eager fans are to connect every possible thread. But if not by blood, could the characters be connected through geography? Through travel? Through shared acquaintances? That starts becoming much more believable. By the 1880s, wealthy Americans often visited Europe, staying in places like Newport, Paris, or London. Many English nobles traveled to the US to escape scandals, find investment opportunities, or even seek wealthy brides. Characters talk about these trips in both series, casually dropping hints about people they met, parties they attended, or connections they made abroad. Imagine Bertha Russell trying to impress British royalty. Imagine Cora Crawley returning to America for family business. Imagine the Van Rhijns sisters gossiping about foreign visitors. It all fits into the social world of these shows. But then there's the biggest personality of all, the Dowager Countess, Violet Crawley. Her sharp tongue, brilliant comebacks, and stubborn attachment to tradition make her one of the few characters who could truly stand toe-to-toe with the powerhouse women of the Gilded Age. And here's the twist. She is old enough in Downton Abbey to have lived through the entire Gilded Age era. Fans have long wondered whether a younger Violet might appear one day, brushing elbows with the Astors, the Russells, or even a young Cora. Julian Fellowes has even hinted that he's thought about it. He's not opposed to bringing the worlds closer. He just says it wouldn't happen in the way fans expect. Which, of course, instantly makes fans even more curious. Crossovers could happen in countless ways. Maybe a character from the Gilded Age travels to England for business or marriage. Maybe someone from Downton brings up an old memory of America. Maybe a side character moves across the ocean and appears quietly in the background of the other show. But there's also another possibility. A completely new series acting as a bridge between the two worlds. A story set between the 1880s and 1910s could follow the younger generation of the Gilded Age as they grow into adults, and as they begin interacting with the English aristocrats we know from Downton Abbey. Imagine seeing Marion Brooke exploring Europe, the Russells visiting dukes and duchesses, or the Buckinghams making unexpected connections across the pond. With so much potential for class conflict, culture shock, and ambition, a third show could become the perfect meeting place. And even if that bridge is never built, the parallels between the two shows are undeniable. Both explore power, privilege, gossip, romance, loyalty, and the friction between old traditions and new ideas. Both center around upstairs families and the staff who keep these grand homes running. Both show us how societies rise, adapt, and sometimes crumble, all while making us fall in love with characters who are flawed, fascinating, and unforgettable. So the big question remains, will these worlds officially collide? Nobody knows for sure. Some fans want a crossover. Others think the shows should remain separate treasures. But the clues are there. The timelines overlap. The creator is the same. The themes connect. And history itself ties these worlds together more tightly than many people realize. Whether they ever meet on screen or not, Downton Abbey and the Gilded Age already feel like spiritual siblings, two sides of the same golden coin. And that just might be enough, or it might be the beginning of something even more exciting. But what do you think? Could there be more than just a shared history at play here? Are these two worlds quietly connected, or are we simply meant to enjoy the echoes between them? Either way, the possibilities are endless. And who knows? The next clue might be hidden right in front of us.